I have some lupine growing and I'm so excited. So here is the seed packet, and this variety is a Pixie Deluxe Dwarf variety, and it says it is to get about 12 inches in height, which is accurate, I think, for the leaves anyway. The flower is about 8 inches in height. So I bought these 3 seed packets this year, and they all look similar to me, except for 2 are perennial and 1 is an annual. The lupine is an annual. And so I decided, I've not had much experience with these at all. I have had the delphinium and foxglove in my yard before, but I can't tell you how they're different. They both look like bells, and I do have notes on them, but I don't think I've ever grown a lupine. You can see it's not really bell-like, but it's a spike. So far I can't tell that the delphinium or foxglove have even germinated. So I love the look of these 3. So I'm super excited that the lupine has done something, and I love it. I love that this is a short variety, and I think I'm going to plant it again. See the leaves? They're kind of palmated, or I think they call it palmately. And I kind of like the way they look. 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And I like how they're kind of airy and cottagey looking. And here's what the flowers look like. So I looked it up, and even though the package doesn't say it, this Pixie Delight Dwarf variety, its scientific name is Lupinus, I think, or Lupinus. I forgot to look up how to say that. Hartwegii nanus. I might be saying that wrong. These, I always call them lupine, but some people call them Lupin, and some people call them Bluebonnet. They are of the Fabaceae family, which is the pea family. That's interesting. As we talked about, mine says, the package says 12 inches, and the flower spikes are 8 inches above that, or actually more than that. But that's what I read online. They were supposed to be, but mine looks a little bigger than 8 inches. And most of the other varieties are 3 to 4 feet tall. Now that's kind of too tall for my garden at this point. I'm trying to get things shorter. These are supposed to be 36 inches high, these zinnias, and look how high they're getting. Way too high. And this was planted next to that, and it's kind of drowning those out. So I need to do some rearranging for next year. Maybe put these zinnias somewhere else. But I'm liking these, and I want to grow them again. And I read that they're annuals, but they can reseed. So I will likely deadhead these and just drop them into the ground and hope that they reseed. These plants like the sun, but they dislike the heat and the humidity, and we definitely have humidity here in Missouri, but they seem to be doing fine. So I planted these seeds around May 16th, and here it is mid-August, August 11th, and they were blooming about August 8th, I think, was the first time I saw them. So the beginning of August is when they started blooming. Now, I would have gotten them in the ground in April, and they might have bloomed the end of July, but we were working on installing drainage pipes and I couldn't get anything done, so we're lucky they got planted at all this year. So next year I'm going to try to get them planted earlier. So as I said, the lupine is a tall spike, and the flowers can be white, pink, blue, and purple, and some are bicolor, which is super cool. And they can have also purple dotted white and yellow markings. Well, mine are this really pale purple, but if you look down here, they're white. I think it'd be fun if it was bicolor pink and purple. And maybe if I buy some different seed packets of this species next year, I will have even different colors. I still like how they kind of blow in the wind. If you look closely, let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. Even the little pieces are are purple and white themselves. I'm trying to look at them closer since this is my first experience with them. And these kind of are closed up, and you can, oops, get my camera to focus again. And I can kind of pry them open with my fingers to see the inside. They're kind of folded over, which is kind of fun. I think pea flowers do that too. See it open up? This flower fits so well in so many types of gardens. Formal gardens, cottage gardens, which is kind of what I'm going for with my yard, naturalistic gardens, and a wildflower meadow-like garden. And I like all those types of gardens, so this is going to fit in with my garden. And I can see that this is very wild-like flower with all it being loose and kind of blowing in the wind. So lupines are also known as nitrogen fixers. I found that to be an interesting concept in that they make nitrogen available to surrounding plants. Don't ask me how they do that, but I think it's super cool. So seed scarification is recommended when planting. Now, I did scar some seeds for the first time earlier this year, and I don't remember if it was these or not. I just nicked them with a pair of clippers, of all things. I just nicked the shell, the hard shell of the seeds before planting, but it's also recommended that you put them in water overnight after you nick them so they can begin absorbing water and then jumpstart the germination process. And this species is a native of Mexico. Don't know how I feel about that, but that's what it is. I did note some other varieties, and I keep my journal notes on website pages linked in the description of the videos. And all of the videos on my YouTube are linked to my website, so remember that if you see any of the others. Some of the other varieties are Lupinus, I need to figure out how to say that, perennis, which seems to be a very common one because it's called wild blue lupine or sundial lupine or wild perennial lupine. And its leaves look similar to my species when I saw it online, so I thought mine might be it until I went and got my seed packet and I saw what they were. And it's native to North America and grows in prairies, open woodlands, and alongside roads. It's very drought and heat tolerant and has blue, pink, and purple flowers. It's much like this one. Mine is a hybrid cultivar, this one that we have here. Then there's another one called Lupinus latifolius, which is a broadleaf lupine, so its leaves are going to be different. It gets to be 4 feet tall. I don't think that's one I want to plant. And it has purple cone-shaped flowers from April to July, so it seems to bloom much earlier. Then there's another one, Lupinus polyphyllus, big leaf lupine. So it seems like the leaves are vary greatly or differentiate greatly between the varieties. So I looked it up, and it's pronounced Lupinus. So even though I call it lupine, I'm probably wrong. It's Lupin. And I looked up my notes, and it says that foxglove is actually an annual, even though this says it's a perennial. It might be a perennial in zones warmer than mine. I know I've had this before, and it's not very long lasting. And then I looked up my notes for delphinium, and it says larkspur and delphiniums are closely related. So I thought it might be foxglove, but it's not. It's larkspur. And they look very similar. So there's another one called larkspur, other than the three we're looking at. Larkspur are annuals that reseed, and delphiniums are perennials. That's the difference. So I thought when I had these in the store and was trying to go by memory that lupine was the annual and delphinium was the perennial, but there's actually another one called larkspur that looks like this. That's an annual, and this one's a perennial, so it doesn't even mention these. I've never grown lupine before. I think it's going to be my favorite of these. I have grown a delphinium before from a starter that I bought at the store, and it was a waste of money because it didn't come back. Plus the foxglove gets 3 to 5 feet high, and the delphinium gets 4 to 5 feet high. So it's really making this lupine be more of my favorite.